Hello and welcome. This is the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. You can watch this news on Vision TV 24/7 and all the social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Justin Bemunyi and Anna Olainka is the sign language interpreter. First, let's look at the headlines. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB tightens strategies against exam malpractices, uncovers more than 1,600 fake A-level results during 2023 direct entry registration exercise. 48 shops with various food items and other goods worth millions of naira gutted by early morning fire in Ofa, Kwara State. Plus, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi sworn in for the third term as Diomaye Faye takes over in Senegal. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has been sworn in before Parliament for his third term in office as leader of Arab, the world's most populous nation. Francis Odojo reports that Sisi, who has been in power for the past decade, is set to remain president until 2030 after winning a December election with 89.6% of the vote against three other relatively unknown.
The 6-year term is set to be the 69-year-old's last, unless he again ushers through a constitutional amendment prolonging his tenure. Reports say the oath also marked the inauguration of Egypt's new administrative capital, located in the desert east of Cairo. Sisi rose to power on the back of mass protest against Islamist President Mohamed Morsi, who was deposed in 2013. Sisi was elected president the following year and then again in 2018, both times with about 97% of the vote. For the past 2 years, his administration has struggled to contain the fallout of a punishing economic crisis that has seen the currency lose 2/3 of its value and inflation soar to a record 40% last year. In the first quarter of 2024, however, Egypt saw an influx of over $50 billion in loans and investment deals, which Cairo has said would ease their foreign currency shortages and revitalize the economy. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
And similarly, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, a left-wing Pan-Africanist, has been sworn in as Senegal's youngest president after sweeping a first-round victory on a pledge of radical reform. Francis Odojo reports that his election comes 10 days after he was released from prison.
The 44-year-old has never held any elected office, but several African leaders attended the ceremony in the new town of Diamniadio, near the capital Dakar.
Devant Dieu et devant la nation sénégalaise.
Before God and the Senegalese nation, I swear to faithfully fulfill the office of President of the Republic of Senegal. Faye swore. Faye also vowed to scrupulously observe the provisions of the Constitution and the laws and to defend the integrity of the territory and national independence and to spare no effort to achieve African unity. Officials say the formal handover of power from outgoing President Macky Sall will take place at the Presidential Palace in Dakar. Faye was among a group of political opponents freed from prison 10 days before the March 24 presidential ballot under an amnesty announced by Sall, who had tried to delay the election. Faye's campaign was launched while he was still in detention. The former tax inspector becomes the West African state's fifth president since independence from France in 1960 and the first to openly admit to a polygamous marriage. Working with his populist mentor, Ousmane Sonko, who was barred from the election, Faye declared listed priorities in his victory speech: national reconciliation, easing a cost of living crisis, and fighting corruption. The anti-establishment leader has vowed to restore national sovereignty over key assets such as the oil, gas, and fishing sectors. Reports indicate that Faye wants to leave the regional CFA France, which he sees as a French colonial legacy, and to invest more in agriculture with the aim of achieving food self-sufficiency. The newly elected president has also sought to reassure investors that Senegal will remain a friendly country and a sure and reliable ally for any partner that engages Senegal in virtuous, respectful, and productive cooperation. On the international scene, Faye seeks to bring military-run Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger back into the fold of the regional economic community of West African states, ECOWAS. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu and Chairman ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Government was part of the special guests as Bassirou Faye took oath of office as the 5th President of Senegal. Details of this report will come your way in our subsequent bulletin. Now, we go to Uganda, where health authorities are scaling up interventions to contain the outbreak of measles.
The most affected districts are those bordering the Democratic Republic of Congo and those hosting refugees. An assessment by the Ugandan Health Ministry shows 41 more districts are at risk of measles, while another 71 are considered at moderate risk. The ministry says it's taking measures to avert a crisis by routinely vaccinating all children under 5.
We need to make sure children are vaccinated in good time and parents to cooperate with the health officials. When we put out a program to help prevent such outbreaks, people should heed and take on to our calls to come and bring the children or give instructions for the children to be given the appropriate vaccination.
The health ministry says the outbreak is a threat to the progress made in ending measles. Doctors say the outbreak is due to pockets of unimmunized children or those who don't receive the vaccine on time. The free movement of people across the border, especially refugee populations, has also contributed to the spike. Measles is an acute respiratory illness that spreads easily and can be fatal, especially among infants if not treated early.
And back in Nigeria, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says it has uncovered more than 1,600 fake A-level results during the 2023 direct entry registration exercise. The registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, stated this when he received the leadership of the National Association of Nigeria Colleges of Education Students, NANSES, in his office. The board says A-level results verification regime was occasioned by endemic corruption associated with the system and intends to restore the integrity of this component of admission process. The JAMB boss reveals that out of this figure, 397 were from colleges of education, 453 were university diplomas, while the rest were other A-level certificates. Now, the House of Representatives says it will monitor compliance with the provisions of the Disability Act as it concerns job recruitment as well as access to public buildings, transportation and healthcare for persons with disabilities. Chairman House Committee on Disability Matters, Bashiru Dawodu Ayinla, stated this while briefing National Assembly correspondents on challenges persons with disabilities face on daily basis. He referred to the case of one Adebola Daniel, who was denied access to an eatery in Lagos as one of millions of other unreported cases of discriminatory tendencies against people with disabilities.
We condemn such actions. Denying individuals with disabilities access to public spaces is not only disrespectful, but also undermines our ongoing efforts to implement the Disability Act. This will no longer be tolerated by governments on all levels. Any establishments within the shore of our country, irrespective of owner's status, should take note. We've had enough. Enough is enough.
Tiers of government towards promoting a more inclusive society. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says with the 2024 national budget being assented to by President Bola Tinubu, more infrastructure will be provided to the teeming residents of the territory. The minister made this disclosure during a media chat with some selected journalists in his office in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu monitored the live telecast and now reports.
Aside from the 19 schools flag off at Gifted School in Gwagwalada to wear a new look in the FCT, additional 21 schools cutting across the 6 area councils will also be rehabilitated. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike discloses that this cheering news is coming against the backdrop of the President's assent to the 2024 national budget, saying that more dividends of democracy will be provided in the areas of healthcare delivery, transportation and other sectors of the economy.
I said, look, what the people want is that whether you divert traffic for 1 month or not isn't material to them. But at the end of the day, will the job be done? And go and see the amount of work. And they have promised that it will be handed over in May.
The minister, however, identified some of the ongoing projects that will be delivered during the president's 1 year in office, to include the southern and northern parkways, the B6 and B12 routes in Jahi district, and the vice president official residence, as well as the Abuja metro line, which he discloses that work has reached 95% stages of completion.
I've identified the metro line. I also identified all the access roads to the stations. We have about 5-6 access roads from communities to these stations. All will be ready.
Nyesom Wike further reveals that a special task force will be constituted to combat banditry and other security challenges, while emphasizing that it will no longer be business as usual on land matters in the FCT. He, however, pledges to provide enabling environment to willing investors to ensure their businesses thrive in the FCT. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Now, 48 shops with various food items and other commodities worth millions of naira have been gutted by an early morning fire this Tuesday in Ofa, Kwara State. Ahmed Fulani's report is here presented.
The popular Owode market is the only market in Ofa. The market always experiences fire outbreak, a situation that is calling for concerted effort to find a permanent solution to disaster in the market. No one could tell the cause of the inferno. It affected a part of the market where food items such as maize, rice, guinea corn, charcoal, and clothes are sold. The affected market men and women were in sad mood, as majority of them are just taking new stock few hours before the fire outbreak.
All our shops got burned completely. We beg the government and individuals to help us.
We want governor to help them.
The Olofa of Ofa and the senator representing Kwara South at the 10th Senate, Senator Lola Ashiru, visited the scene of the inferno with a promise of cash support to all the affected market traders.
What we only do is how to give them succor so that we reduce their problem.
I have made a promise of 150,000 per head, and I will fulfill it almost immediately. But I know you cannot compensate for the loss.
One is not happy about it because it is coming at a very difficult time that the economy is down. But we have trust in God that something reasonable will be done.
The important thing is that the major stakeholders have responded. I know that the state government is also making plans, to support the people who have lost their valuables.
The traders are requesting the state government to provide good road network within the market to ease mobility so that the rapid response squad can get easy access to the market in case of future incident. Shola Wahid, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We now take a break. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Till there. As Nigerians grapple with poor power supply following incessant grid collapse and vandalism, the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) has been urged to remain focused and give Nigerians improved power supply to drive economic growth. At a press briefing in Abuja, the coalition of civil society organizations said after monitoring the situation from across the country, it is evident that the situation is not beyond what the TCN can remedy and that what is required is a collective effort of all stakeholders to bring relief to Nigerians. The group said TCN should not be distracted by unfounded allegations of wrongdoings or undue pressure, but allowed to navigate the power sector, which is currently receiving attention from the present administration.
And corrupt government officials, we believe with leaders like Engineer Sule and the cooperation of all stakeholders, the power sector will soon receive the much needed and long-awaited transformation and stabilization under the President Bola Tinubu's administration, giving the declaration of a state of emergency in the power sector by Mr. President.
The federal government says it will continue to advance the rights and equal opportunities for all citizens through comprehensive policies and programs aimed at fostering equality and socio-economic inclusion. The senior special advisor to the president on special needs and equal opportunities, Ahmed Issa, stated this at the food distribution outreach in collaboration with Help the Amputee Foundation in Abuja. He said President Bola Tinubu says under his renewed hope agenda, all physically challenged citizens will have access to education, healthcare and political representation.
When you create an enabling environment to persons with disability, they will excel, and there is a lot of potentiality to them. That is even why we are trying to change the narrative in this administration. There is a lot of potentiality if you look at in terms of any sector for persons with disability. So the government of the day, they have changed the narrative by trying to see that they bring persons with disability in every segment of the society.
In observance of Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month, they organize a food distribution program to provide for individuals and families affected by limb loss.
Together, we will keep reaching out to more people in need. We want every person who has lost a limb to have a sense of belonging.
We should not continue on begging. Begging is an old modern business. We should involve ourselves in one or two things. Take our children to school, make sure that we are not to beg and our children to beg.
While appreciating the foundation and all others collaborating with his office, he called on philanthropists to support them so that they can bridge the disability and development gap across the country. A cross-section of people in Anambra State have commended the federal government for the palliatives rolled out to cushion the effects of the economic hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal in Nigeria. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
Records show that between May 29 and October 1, 2023, federal government of Nigeria announced at least 9 palliatives to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal. The palliatives are to support sectors like agriculture, transportation, household, workers' welfare, and so on to reduce the attendant economic and social hardship of the subsidy removal on the masses. In Anambra State, though the initial palliative loan was given to the state government, some supporters of President Tinubu's government and other political stakeholders were also on top of the game to make life more meaningful for the populace with the distribution of rice and other items.
The federal government last year gave 62 billion naira to loan, also delivered over 19,000 bags of rice and maize alongside. We had a committee which the governor constituted to ensure that the rice got to every kindred.
But rice is better than that 12,000. You know, you cannot afford bag of rice 12,000. You understand me?
But when they give them the rice, they are very happy.
Before the minimum wage becomes a reality, that palliative should continue to be paid to Nigerian workers.
In Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
On a rather sad note, 14 people have been confirmed dead in the aftermath of multiple road crashes that occurred in the Abuja community in Kogi State. The State Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Samuel Sunday Oyedeji, confirmed this at the scene of the accident in Abuja. Correspondent Solomon Ayedin provides an update on the road mishap.
The accident involving 4 vehicles occurred due to brake failure from one of the articulated trucks while traveling at high speed. The truck lost control and collided with 3 stationary vehicles, including the Sharon bus carrying 12 passengers from the western part of the country heading towards Abuja. The collision sparked a fire, resulting in the tragic deaths of all 12 bus passengers and the motorcycle operator.
15 people are involved. We started starting on the house. But this morning, out of the 2 that were rescued, one of them died. Taking the tower of machines. We have according to the unit OCA said that we checked.
Efforts are underway to investigate and prosecute those responsible for the incident.
Our commander has given directive that the driver is on, and we are on it.
The sector commander expressed concerns about road encroachment by market activities and urged stakeholders, including relevant government agencies, to take proactive measures. He advised motorists to ensure their vehicles are roadworthy and to comply with traffic rules and regulations to reduce accidents and fatalities on Nigerian roads. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has urged Muslims and Christians to see religion as a unifying factor for prayers and working together for the good of Nigeria. Akpabio stated this when he invited and joined Muslim senators for the breaking of the Ramadan fast, the Iftar. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The Iftar was another opportunity for thanksgiving to appreciate God for sparing the lives of faithful to witness the holy month of Ramadan, and as a reminder that both Muslims and Christians should be tolerant of each other. Senator Akpabio added that the event holding at this time, when Christians are also celebrating the Easter, is not a mere coincidence, but to show that Nigerians are one in brotherhood.
We need to continue to work together as brothers and sisters of the same God, the Almighty God, for the benefit of our dear country. There is nothing religion cannot divide us. No matter the turmoil, no matter the political disagreements in some instances, even families do disagree. But we must bear one thing in mind, that we are saving humanity. God should enable us to live a better future for all Nigerians. Through this fasting, through this sacrifice, even through the sacrifice of our own Jesus Christ in the Christendom, we have today been born again.
Anytime we meet like this, you pray, and you prayed for this country, which is also very commendable. So I want to add that may the Almighty Allah continue to be our guide, continue to support us as we work with the executive arm of government to face the challenges we have in trying to surmount them. And by grace of God, we are going to change our challenges to prosperity.
It was in 1914 that we got the name, but I was in Nigeria even before 1914. And there was any disunity, discrepancies, and we were doing well. So we still need to move forward and ensure that we socialize in order to achieve unity.
We pray to Almighty God to guide this Senate, to give our President the required impetus he needs to stir the activities of this Senate.
The lawmakers urge Muslim faithful to use the last 10 days of Ramadan to pray for the growth and development of Nigeria. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has joined the great people of Warri Kingdom to greet the King, the Olu of Warri, Ogeame Atuase III, on the occasion of his 40th birthday. She wished the King long life and more wisdom to have an impactful reign. Now let's have a quick check on Wednesday's weather prospect for Nigeria and other cities of the world. That ends the news on NTA International. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Bemui, and Anna Olaika has been the sign language interpreter. Bye for now.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is